Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Rebrews. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
And also, I'm part of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network, Toontastic Journeys as well. I swear to God,
Yeah.
I'm going to get.
I was going to say, you got to get the
to do
updated
that whole
graphics. And well, Kendra
network
already
intro.
did. Kendra already did. They have it, so you just got to get it.
I gotta get a hold of Kendra and get the new graphic. I gotta get Amanda to sit down and re-record the intro because Toontastic Journeys has been a part of the network for almost a year now, and it's still not in the freaking intro. And we're not trying to be disrespectful to other members of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network, but all the witty banter aside, first and foremost, it is Sunday. It is movie day. It is live on the interwebs, An Evening at the Movies Day. We are the podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, drink the watered down sodas, talk about all of our favorite movies and why we love them. And we unfortunately are missing half of your hosting team today. Maybe she will be with us later, crossing our fingers, hope to God. But she's had a busy weekend, and her voice was not feeling up to snuff this morning when I talked to her. So she wasn't sure if she was going to be here, but we planned to talk about this movie for so long, basically ever since it freaking went to streaming, and we're not putting this shit off no more. So if Amanda pops in, Amanda will be here and share her opinion, but we're going to go live and do our thing anyway. But before we can get to the movie, though, we have some amazing guests with us. And let's see, network or ladies first? Let's go ladies first. So we have Luana from the Horror Squad is back with us. Welcome back,
Hi,
ma'am.
I'm glad to be back.
We are glad to have you back.
Welcome to my illustrious den/kids room. I had to kick the kids out. They were playing in the back. That's okay though. They're all right.
Oh, you got kind of a Blue's Clues vibe going on there.
I don't know. Well, you know what? Like, I don't know. They're playing veterinarian back here. So. They watch
Didn't you have
Heretic
a daughter who has a birthday today?
Well, no, she went to a birthday. Their birthdays were last week. I had to go to a kid's birthday party. It was a spa birthday party. There was so much pink. I was horrified. I wanted to get out of there. My skin was crawling, but she had a great time.
That was a sickly amount of pink at that birthday party.
I wish I could show. You could show the pictures if you could, but it was like a lot of pink. It was a lot.
For those of you listening, I will post the pictures in. I did not make these ranking or An Evening at the Movies group page. It was.
Yes, my goth heart was horrified. I couldn't.
It was not a very Horror Squad-esque birthday party. I will say that.
No, but
so
she did. She Paloma's a little witch at heart. So, but she got to play with the normies, and that's okay.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But again, we have one more guest with us this week. We have Mr. Josh from the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network, as well as Toontastic Journeys, as well as semi-regular guest on An Evening at the Movies as well. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I'm excited to be here. You know, I love talking movies and especially horror movies. And it's been too long since the last time I came on here. The last time was when we talked. No, I wasn't actually officially on that episode. But yeah, so it's been a while. What's the last episode we did together? It was the horror movie.
Yeah. The one about the dead guy.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now.
Oh, what?
But, yeah, I'm excited to be on here. I keep wanting to say It Follows, but it's not It Follows. What Comes Next or something like that is what it's called.
The dead guy?
It Comes Next. It was a weird, twisted movie that about death and the things that almost like flatliners, but not flatliners.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, and it's at the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember.
It was a. I will post that information as well in the group.
Okay.
So,
because it's gonna bug me until I figure it out. So,
let's see. Yeah.
I was trying to look it up real quick.
We are here.
Right.
Well, I've got it on time because I actually had to rent it because it's evidently not very. Not It Comes at Night. That was A24.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. We Go On. That's it. It's We Go On.
We Go On. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's hard to find because they had direct-to-video release. And then they did theaters.
So it's...
we don't have very many...
Is it streaming anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Is it streaming anywhere? It went right to video on demand, you're saying?
Yeah, it went to video on demand, but you can stream it on Prime. You can buy it on Prime, but it's not streaming anywhere. You have to buy it.
Okay. Boo hiss.
Yeah, I think I rented it for like $2.99 on freaking Prime.
Oh.
Yeah, I looked out. There's a brief period of time where it was on Shudder, and I watched it free on Shudder. Well, not free, but I had Shudder, so.
Yeah, I have Shudder. We all have Shudder.
If you like horror movies, you got Shudder.
If you like horror movies, you have Shudder.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Hot take.
But
hot take.
It's actually a surprise. Yes. We need to get to the Heretic because I've got some thought. I've got some Hugh Grant. I actually love Hugh Grant, and I have some thoughts about whether or not. I got to pull up my notes though really quick before we get to the actual discussion because we have a typical game that we like to play on An Evening at the Movies that we have to play first.
Oh.
Let's before we get to that though. For those of you who do not know, Heretic released on. I don't think it released on November 8th, 2024.
No, that's about right.
Okay, either way. It says here November 8th, 2024. We'll go ahead and we'll go with that. Was directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. It was released by my favorite addiction, also known as A24. It had a budget of $10 million, made 59.1 at the box office. So quite a nice little profit there. If you would like to find it to stream and you haven't, okay. So again, this is one of those ones where I normally we don't encourage you to stop watching or listening to An Evening at the Movies because we love all the viewers and we're doing great numbers each and every week. But if you have not seen Heretic, I highly encourage you right now to put a pin in this episode. Go over to your HBO Max subscription, pull up the damn movie, and watch the movie for an hour and a half, and then come back to this episode because we are going to talk about this movie. We're going to talk about it in depth. There's going to be spoilers, and this is one of the movies you don't want to have ruined by listening to us.
All right, there you go. There's your spoiler warning. So if you get spoiled after this, that's on you.
Exactly. If you stay, don't blame Casey. Don't blame Josh. Don't blame Luana. We warned you. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off here in a second after we play to guess the Rotten Tomato score. You've been warned. So, there's your spoiler alert for what's coming next, though, too. It's time to guess what the stupid-ass Rotten Tomatoes has to think about this blockbuster of a movie. I have 2 Rotten Tomato scores, one the tomato meter and one the popcorn meter. Luana, as always, ladies go first. Would you like to guess?
I think I'm a lady. Oh, thank you.
We speak colorfully on An Evening at the Movies, but we also have manners as well. So,
well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Manners make it man.
So, with that said, we have the critic score. We also have the audience score. You get 2 guesses, one for each.
Okay.
Would you like to guess what each one is?
Sure. What's that? The popcorn score is the critic score. I would say 85%.
Popcorn is the fans.
Oh, popcorn's the fans.
And,
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
It's not like it's that important, but
okay.
Popcorn is the fans. Tomato is the critics.
Well, the critics probably are 85%. The fans probably like 75%. Because some people probably didn't get what they were looking for with the film. Although I enjoyed it immensely, but
I can see.
Yeah, I'm going to take the opposite stance.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 73 for the Rotten or for the tomato meter, and I'm going to go 79 for the popcorn meter.
So, we'll rip the Band-Aid off and go with the popcorn meter first, which is the audience score. The audience gave the movie on 1,000+ verified reviews a 76%.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, Josh,
Mm-hmm.
in the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network, what do
Fuck
we say
Rotten
about fuck Rotten Tomatoes? not this time. Not this time, though.
They get it right this time?
Well, we'll discuss how correct we feel they got this one, but the critics gave it a 91%.
Wow.
So the critics actually thought highly of this movie. Whether we think highly of this movie or not, we will get to that over the next little bit of time. But 91%, not a bad. It's not the highest rated A24 horror movie out there.
Mm-mm.
We will get to some great recognizing some great A24 horror later in the show,
Mhm.
because I have a top 5 list of my favorite A24 horror movies.
I brought my
And
list too.
I brought my list.
We ready?
it's
We ready.
it
Yeah.
there I have some thoughts about A24 horror. I will say that. And I wish to God Harvey was here for this one, because Harvey is the one that introduced me to A24 horror,
Harvey?
and
Hmm.
Harvey
You
did.
know,
Oh yeah. Um,
he does have he
and I
does
will
have a
say,
multitude of different tastes, so I shouldn't be surprised. It's just horror is not always his first pick.
um, oh no, it really isn't. And the movie that he recommended that I would watch is a very fucked up movie, and
What is it?
did make it. It did make my top 5.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, but we will get to that after we discuss Heretic, though.
Well,
Okay.
So,
can
um,
I just this is heretic centric, but this I don't know. I feel like sometimes when the critics really like something, or they get a 91, they give a 91% or something like that, it's probably because, and tell me if you agree, it's probably because of Hugh Grant. You
Yeah,
know?
I think most of it's based on Hugh Grant's performance,
Yes.
the dialogue,
sure.
and the girl's performance, as well as the way they seriously tackle religion in the
Mhm.
movie. But I don't think they gave it necessarily based on the actual story itself and the pacing.
Well, okay, because for me, I'm just going to throw this one out here. There wasn't a whole lot about this movie that I didn't enjoy, except for maybe the pacing at times. There was times, to me, it felt like it was going incredibly slow.
Mm.
Really? Okay.
But then, well, okay, because like from the time that they show up on his doorstep to the time that they actually disappeared down the hallway going down into the basement to go out the back door and around the house, because you know his house is built butted up against a mountain and blah 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 blah. It felt like it was kind of slow, but then like once they started down the hallway into that basement area, it felt like it started picking back up again too. So it
Okay.
wasn't like it was horribly bad paced, but there was times where like sitting in that den and they were having the discussion, it's like, okay, something more needs to happen for me, because, and it's not anything against the story or the dialogue or that particular scene. It felt like it was going a little bit long, in my opinion.
I love a slow burn. So for me, like that kind of, it's setting some things up. It's setting some pieces up on the chessboard, because you get, and it really adds a lot to showing the girls, the girls' characters, you know, because we think when we're watching the film, this is spoilerific, right? So, but when you're watching the film,
Oh,
you're led to believe that the brunette is a little more is stronger, so she's going to be like the final girl, kind
Right.
of
Right.
looking thing. So, and she and the more
yeah,
innocent girl, so that sets it up. And then, I don't know. When I originally saw the trailer for this film, I thought that Hugh Grant was the devil. And in a way, he actually is. So you get to see him, buttering these girls up, and they really build on the awkwardness and there's something going on, there's something uncomfortable. How the figgity are they going to get out of here? So I really enjoyed that slow burn in the beginning when they're sitting in that front room.
Yeah, I gotta agree
so
because I usually like well-paced movies, and I do feel like the ending was paced kind of funky, but that slow burn, especially because you're like, okay, he feels evil, but does he truly have ill intention, or is he just a really creepy person that's trying to get his point across? And there's so many times where you're like, oh, well, maybe he's not quite what he seems. Oh, but he is evil. Oh, and so that back and forth and the play with the girls, and then, like, what's going to happen? I enjoyed that. It kept me engrossed enough that even though it was slow at times, I was enjoying it. And the dialogue was really good. Plus, I just got so much pleasure out of watching Hugh Grant play a villain, because he chewed the scene on that role. Like he was great.
He was the role. He was so good. Yeah. But I also enjoyed seeing these younger girls, playing up against him.
Yes.
Who's that blonde girl? I mean, the brunette girl, Sophie Turner. I don't remember. I'm old, so I don't remember Sophie Turner. I mean, she could really go toe to toe with him. Yeah. I thought in some parts of the in the beginning there, when they're first in the house, yeah, when they first come in.
So the funny part is, kind of sort of back a second to what Luana said a minute ago about what she thought at times about Hugh Grant's character. Amanda, because she's not here to back it up, and I'm going to share some of the comments that she had while she was watching the movie, was her initial thought early on, once the girls show up at Mr. Reed's house, is she kept saying, "Oh my God, he's Satan."
No, but
that's interesting because you have the same feeling.
Well, the whole idea, I think, the devil would be charming. He would be Hugh Grant. Yeah. Like,
right?
No, I agree 100%, and I felt the same things when I first sat down to watch this movie. And I'm not gonna lie, since it dropped on Max, I've watched it probably 3 times, just because it's one of those that there is a lot that gets discussed, gets shown. I feel like there's each one of the 3 times I've seen this movie, I've seen something different that I didn't see the last time. So, but the first time I saw, Hugh Grant open the door and the conversation that they started having, and him encouraging them to come in the house, and well, do you have a roommate? We can't come in the house unless there's a female roommate, and oh, my wife's here, and blah blah. And he kept encouraging that my wife is here, but yet his wife wouldn't show up.
He wasn't producing her, but then they kept making concessions. So that there's the thing. I mean, it kind of shows you, they kept making concessions like, oh, okay, she's cooking. And then, they would just accept kind of like a face value. You know what I mean? And that's what made it awkward for me. Like,
well, it felt like a very big cat and mouse game between him being the vicious feline and them being the 2 little mice that he's, dance puppet.
Yeah.
And almost literally, but it definitely created. I wouldn't necessarily put Mr. Reed on that same level as, say, Hannibal Lecter and Anthony Hopkins, but I feel like these 2 characters are very similar in the horrific nature of their character.
Well, I feel like
it's very cerebral with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's completely in control much of the time.
Oh, very much.
Probably before these girls, but actually before these girls even walked into the house, over to the house. He knew what he was gonna do.
Oh yeah, because he already had the candle, going. He had the door set up.
And it's not the first time he's played this game either.
No, it's not.
Very much.
So he's had time to hone his craft, you know.
Absolutely.
So, but it's also that's why I like Sophie Turner's character so much, because this wasn't like this. I don't know, this religion thing. It wasn't her first playground, Mormonism, or the time around the playground, or I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
But she seemed to be more worldly than the other girl, who was quite innocent seeming.
Right.
So she kind of knew what was up. And there were times that she didn't speak up,
Right.
She didn't speak up because she was trying to be nice, which is what girls do. We're trying to be nice, even though things are uncomfortable. And
try to be these good Mormon women and give them the benefit of the doubt.
And he knew they would do that.
Well, and I think one of the things this movie did not benefit from, and why the popcorn score is low, is it was very hyped up.
Yeah.
From the minute it started showing, I saw all these commercials and I saw a bunch of stuff online. Oh my gosh, Heretic's so good. Heretic's so good. And I will admit, I was one of the people hyping up to people like, you gotta see it's a good movie. I had the benefit of not having any hype. I saw the trailer for it, and about a week later, thanks to me and DeAndre's Code Network member, or me and Casey's Code Network member, DeAndre, got to go see a free screening of it. And so I went into it with nothing behind it outside of what I saw in the trailer. And because of that, I was able to enjoy it a lot more because I did not have any expectations, outside the fact that, like, I knew he was lying about the blueberry pie because they make that clear in the trailer. One cool thing about the screen I went to, by the way, is we go to the screening at this movie theater in downtown Portland where I live. And it was fun because two of the guys with me had not seen the trailer. They had no idea about this movie.
Oh.
And they had a company here that does mini pies. And they were giving out mini blueberry pies to everybody to eat when you go in the movie theater.
Oh, Lord.
And everybody was like, that's so weird. I'm like, trust me, there's a reason for it. Just get the pie and eat it.
Weird.
It was great. The pies were delicious, but it was so funny because afterwards I was like, did you enjoy the pie? And they're like, if I knew what it was going to be about, I don't know if I would have got it.
Oh my God.
But it's such a cool marketing thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That would almost be like you taking Dre to go see Get Out and having them market here. Have this little cup of tea for the screening of the movie.
The tea would have been so much worse. Oh, dude.
Freaking
start stirring it.
That's one of those things. Yeah, because Dre has said numerous times while we talked about this movie or talked about Get Out on our network show, where he warned his wife's in-laws that if they ever started stirring a cup of tea in front of him, he'd knock that shit out of their hand in a heartbeat.
I love it.
Think of it, the in-laws are like, what the heck happened to him?
Calm down, I was just trying to serve you some tea.
My tea's hot. Okay. None of that. Oh man.
No, definitely the one thing that really I fell in love with, because like Josh was saying, though, he benefited from going into this without having all that hype, where unfortunately for myself and Amanda, and we're not trying to take cheap shots at our awesome guest and network compadre, but we didn't see it when he saw it, so we, for lack of a better term, suffered from the hype of, because we got a lot of, oh my God, you guys need to see this movie. Oh my God, you guys need to see this movie, which, is not unwarranted by any stretch of the imagination. But, I would definitely 100% thank Josh for hyping up the movie for us to the point that, yes, we did need to see it, but not spoiling it for us as well.
Well, and to me, like, I think that's one of the biggest problems nowadays because people will kind of spoil stuff. And I'm like, even the little small things, they're like, oh, it's not important. I'm like, I don't want any details. Just tell me the movie was good and I'll love it. Because that's what I try and do. If I find a movie that I think is really good and somebody will enjoy, I try to tell them to enjoy it. Like, hey, this is something you should see. But I try to also manage the expectations because I've done that and I've had that done to me where somebody hypes a movie up and then you go and watch it and it's good, but you're expecting greatness and you're just like, it was good. And then you don't enjoy it. You're like,
That's why I tried to stay away from a lot of I wanted to watch it for myself. I know that I love Hugh Grant. So right there, whatever he does, I'm gonna like it. But I just wanted to watch it for myself. And I'm a person that likes kind of like ghost or paranormal. So I was kind of hoping it had like more of a paranormal kind of twist to it. So that's why in the beginning, I thought that maybe he was Satan.
Well, and they do kind of have that moment towards the end where you get the ladies and the lady comes back alive and you're like, oh, maybe he does actually have some supernatural powers from this religion he found that's the true religion. And, but then it ends up being a trick again. And you're like, oh. Wow. He's just a normal crazy person with old crazy ladies, and the true religion just ends up being Satanism, and you're just like, oh well, well, not really. I mean,
that's one of those.
He's like a glutton for control. That's why he has all those ladies in there. You know what I mean?
And that is the key to the whole movie, though. You kind of sort of get the imagery of it, but one of the big payoffs at the end of the movie, though, is that line that, and I believe it was he delivered it. It's all about control.
Yeah, because even when the girls thought they were in control of a choice, like the door choice, perfect example. They think they're in control of that choice, and they find out the doors lead to the same place.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's the.
I know that.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say he's the guy. I was going to say he's the guy that's pulling the strings. No matter what choice they make, he's always about 10 steps ahead. That's his house.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's his house. He knows in the front foyer or the living room where he goes in. I mean, he gives them that choice. If you think about it, and I went to Catholic school all my life, that's what Satan does. He makes it seem like you have a choice. That's all demons and stuff like that. They always have all these rules. They're stickler for rules. You know what I mean? But they're always 10 steps ahead of you. So do you really have that choice? They like to make it see and then use it against you,
Right. Because even the candle, he had that set up and he left the room purposely knowing, they're going to discover this candle's a blueberry candle,
And then what are they going to do? They made the choice to stay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I like that, and he had amazing dialogue in the movie. Like, I feel like for a movie where they particularly did say, "Hey, we want to seriously have these conversations about religion," his Monopoly monologue is probably my favorite part of that. Yeah, where he compares the 3 different versions of Monopoly to
the visual aids,
Christianity, Christian religions. Yeah, and it's just it's so well done the way he does that.
I love the Monopoly dialogue. I also love that song dialogue that also goes along with the same thing about the song and
with Creep. Like the original version of Creep, and then the watered down version, and then turned. Okay, the radio.
Yeah,
that's great.
Exactly. It's very woven together in a very precise manner, and as much as I said earlier that I wasn't as much a huge fan of the pacing, but it's still like you guys said though too. At the same time, this is a slow burn for 90 minutes until you get to the end of the movie and everything's revealed. But because of that slow burn, it helps to create a complete picture,
a complete tapestry,
for lack of a better.
Yeah.
Because you can't see everything. Well, if you're looking too closely at a tapestry, all you see are the little threads, woven together.
Mm-hmm.
You got to step back, and then you could see the whole thing.
Right.
You can see the whole thing, and that's what he does with his, his little speech. He's worked really hard on that speech. Yeah, but the other thing that caught, I only got to watch it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I watch films, I think of like first act, second act, third act, or whatever, and then like the finale, and then the denouement if there's one. So the first act. Remember, and think about his monologues about religion while I talk about this. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe you can help me bring the words together, because sometimes I'm thinking too quickly for what I want to say. I kept thinking about that house. That house, it's not like the practical magic house that I love so much and I want to be there. It's not like, I kept thinking about the house as in like, okay, these girls come in, they have a choice to come in, they have a choice to stay. This is the face that he shows everybody. Even the Toby, or not Toby Maguire. Is that Toby Maguire? Their Mormon friend that came to look for them.
Oh, yeah, it was somebody famous.
He kind of looks like. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
No, Topher.
It was Topher. It's Topher.
Topher, whatever. Topher que se yo jodiendo. So he came, but that's the face that he shows everyone. Kind of goofy, kind of awkward, kind of like weird. You know what I mean? But that's the face he shows everyone. Pretty much just a weird old man that's lonely. Right. And then
in the house.
Once they step into that library, then you get that whole speech. Those are his thoughts. That's the way that he's thinking. And then, so even if he does give you a choice, it leads to the same place, which is the basement. That's where you think you know, but you don't know. That's where you find out. And then you go into his soul.
Therein lies the beauty of 24 horror. Just when
That's
you think
deep.
you know,
I love that.
You don't know shit.
That is so deep.
It's almost like 9 circles of hell, or 9 levels, but it's all these different levels of this person.
And the house matches them, because you got that very interesting, welcoming, inviting living room that's the face of the house. And then you got that library where it's very
quirky. He's funny, he's dynamic, he's engaging, but then the deeper that you go into the house, the more in control he is.
That's a good take. I like that take a lot. That's awesome. Yeah. Really good take.
I hadn't even thought about it like that, but in a way, it is a lot like the 9 circles of hell, purgatory, whatever you want to call it. How every step of the way you're getting deeper and deeper into the madness that is Mr. Reed.
So I don't know. That's kind of what I took from it. I'm trying to think of like bigger symbols and just trying to take away from that.
I think that's a very spot on symbol.
Yeah, no, that's great symbolism, because like you said, as you go deeper into the house, each one represents a different part of him, and it gets more chaotic and more scary and darker the farther you go.
But it's their choice. It's your choice.
And they choose to
go.
You
always have a choice. Yeah, okay.
Well, and you know what? We discuss Hugh Grant a lot, but the 2 girls, Sister Barnes and Sister Payton, they did such an amazing job, because they immediately established them with that bit of dialogue at the very beginning of the movie. And you know right away that like Sister Barnes is the more confident, more worldly one, where Sister Paxton tends to be a little bit more timid, and the one with a little bit more faith, you would say. And like you said, like as the movie goes on, Sister Barnes doesn't really speak up, and she allows Paxton to kind of get them both in this situation. And, if you expect anybody to be the final girl, you're expecting Sophie Thatcher's Sister Barnes to be the final girl, and it ends up being Paxton. And as much as I don't like the pacing of the third act, I really did enjoy the ending with him being like, pray. And what does she do? She prays, and then all of a sudden, Sister Barnes comes back to life briefly. Bow, takes him out, And then that final scene of her outside the house in the snow, and it's sunny, and then this butterfly after that whole conversation about her mom coming back to the butterfly. Here comes this butterfly, landed on her briefly. And I was just like, that could be interpreted so many ways. You could take it as
Sister Barnes came back and said,
yeah,
hey, good job.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. I'm with you.
Just like you can,
that's God saying, it's God saying, here was your trial. This was your trial, your real test of faith. You came up against the devil, and there you go.
Because it's just in the same way you can interpret her praying and Barnes coming back alive to be like, oh, God answered her prayers, or just, oh, it's a coincidence. But it's great to leave so much up for interpretation. And it was nice seeing a movie where at the end somebody still lives, because final girls are getting less and less prevalent in these horror movies, because we often get that ending where everybody dies. Oh, the person escaped, and all of a sudden, nope, they didn't. So that I enjoyed that personally.
The Jason coming up from the Crystal Lake and pulling you right down.
Right.
It's Carrie's head coming out from the but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that type of reading, like, just I don't know. I think Amanda would appreciate this. Because I went to Catholic school all my life, and I'm kind of witchy now, so I'm kind of a baby witch now. And so after being raised like in like a patriarchal kind of religion, and then it's like a lot to deconstruct.
It is
it's a lot, and that's why I'm saying, like, maybe also the house is it's a symbol of Mr. Reed, but maybe Mr. Reed is a symbol of like the patriarchy. But as control, the patriarchy's control over women, but through religion.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm a very spiritual person. However, I absolutely disdain organized religion. Can't stand it, because so much has been used as a tool of control, a tool of the patriarchy, a tool to justify wars and atrocities and other things. And so watching them have this actual serious conversation about it was very enjoyable for me, because it talked a lot about the bad, but then you had the sisters kind of representing the good, but also the naivety. And then, like you said, he's representing this control over them that patriarchy and religion can have, especially over women in their autonomy.
All the religions he used as examples, he did speak a little bit about witchcraft, but I think now it's like foggy, but most of the major religions are, patriarchal in essence. So, you know what I mean? And then how are women viewed? They're made to feel uncomfortable. They're made to feel like, I have to be good. I have to like step back. I have to be, he really gets off on that. He really gets off on that. Even a little firecracker like Sister Barnes, who she might be, but then at the same time, she's always giving him the benefit of the doubt. And then even when she tries to escape or whatever, or she tries to take control, and she's too far in. So she's too far into his net. So it's hard for her to have.
Yeah, because when she rushes away control, ends up being still part of his plan. So, because like you said, he's 10 steps ahead. So it's like at the moment that she does do that, like when they have the argument about the two doors, well, that's what he wanted. He wanted them to argue and be divided, so they fall into the traps that he wants. Even though in her mind, she's like, okay, I'm finally taking control. No, you're not. You think you are, but you're really not.
Even the whole thing with the matches, I was flipping the figgity out. I was like, oh my God, you better get that match, girl. He didn't step on your fingers. I thought he was going to chop her fingers off or something. I was like freaking out. Yes. But yeah, I was on the edge of my seat with that one. But I don't know. Oh, maybe you guys can help me with the construction of the house, not to go back to the house again, but they could have just walked right out the back of the house. They didn't even have to descend. Do you know what I mean? So even the house is deceiving.
Right.
Now, so is the construction of the house like, the basement, you got to go down and then you go back up because you're going through all these like different corridors. So you're not necessarily like, you didn't have to descend to get out.
Right. But
there could have been like a side corridor where you could have just walked right out the back of the house without any issue.
Yeah, because I feel like the way he constructed the house, it's designed to make it feel like you have to go this way to get out.
And then you choose to go that way.
If they would have actually really spent some time looking around, they might have found a better way to get out. But they kept in his control by being like, oh, well, this is obviously the way out, so let's go.
So that's why, terrible. Terrible person. Wicked. Oh, sorry. Are you muted?
Casey, your mic's doing that thing.
I was just going to say, up until that very end, though, there's not really a time where he's not in control of everything going on from the time they show up at that door through till ultimately he demands that, what's her face prays and,
Do you think this was his swan song? Like he meant to kill himself?
I think in his mind, probably at that exact moment,
that he's a martyr.
He took pleasure of that because he's like, I controlled her to the point where she had to do this and make this choice. And so even though he dies, he's probably taking a sick sense of pleasure in the fact that like he pushed this nice young innocent girl to end up being in this position where he ends up dying. I don't think it was his intention, but I'm sure he in his final little breath there was happy and content.
Yeah. Because he still denigrated someone who was her faith was strong, but she had to step out of all that in order to survive,
Oh yeah. It's interesting. I haven't heard anything about this, but I have to imagine that certain clips of this film are being used by the Mormon Church when they do have teachings about proper etiquette when you're going out doing those missions of safety. Because what better tool to use for safety and be like, hey, so what are all the wrong things that these girls did?
Oh no.
Like they should have waited at the front door till the wife came, or called somebody. So I know I would. I'd be
in
like,
the rain,
use this.
In the storm. Wasn't there it was like a level 4 hurricane?
Right?
Standing out there.
I don't care what the damn weather is. I am not going into some creepy freaking weirdo's freaking house without backup.
But he made an appointment.
He did.
He made an appointment.
They're trying to do their job.
The devil would make an appointment too.
And they believed it because who else would make a blueberry pie? And it smells so good.
Well, and that's part of it that factors into it too, is they have that conversation at one point about the, I guess, quota.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the one missionary has had X number of baptisms since she started her mission. The other one hasn't had any. So you're almost at that point where, you know, there is kind of an air of desperation that, you know, I don't want to look bad in the church's eyes, but, you know, you need to step up your game there, girls, if you're not doing your damn job. You know, we need new bodies.
Mm-hmm. And he gives them the choice once again, because he's very much like, oh, well, I completely understand if you guys don't want to, but my wife's in here, I promise you. And it's just kind of another form of control, because he probably knows, like, they're going to feel bad. They don't want to offend me.
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like he just knew. He knew. I mean, even down to the key, he had it in one girl's pocket, then it was in the other girl's pocket. He knew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the key. That was another way. He just was messing with them so much.
And his hair was wet coming in. I was like, what is it hot in there? Why is he?
When he went and got the bicycle.
I would have died too, because I was like, wow.
And it's funny, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch it either.
Until the second watch, I was like, oh, that's when he went and did the bike thing.
Yep.
But yeah, because I was wondering, like, I was like, when did he have time to go out and get the bike? But yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah, he was something else. And you know how those girls, they should have been stepping up their game, and they were practicing their little talk. She was practicing that little talk with her whole life and her heart and soul. That poor girl. And this guy's been doing this to how many, who knows how many missionaries, you know? Like, they were really, like, kind of out of their league. Well, but still.
You get to that, I guess, final room, and there's what? Like,
how many girls?
8 cages down there?
Right.
That have...
They were all women, yes?
Girls in them?
Yes.
Yeah. Terrible.
Unless there's something that I missed, but...
Well, you know, I mean, it could be worse. He could have married them all. It still would have been the same idea. Like, in religion, you just collect all your women. You have your little harem, and he had his harem. It's just, he was letting them waste away. It's their choice.
Therein lies the next cheap shot at Mormonism.
Oh, I wasn't giving a cheap shot to Mormonism. I'm just saying. So, I mean, there are other religions that had, polygamy as, and promises of 12 virgins upon death.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think the one moment in the end, though, that I just felt was so weird, even though it's what led to her realizing that, the lady wasn't dead or was dead and didn't come back to life. But that whole thing about when he finds the contraceptive in her arm and he tries to convince them there was a chip and they're in a simulation. I'm just like, what? Such a left turn. Like, what? I'm like, if this is really something, I'm going to be mad.
No.
He
was... That was, I don't know what that was. Was he?
Yeah, it was weird.
Was he just grasping at straws at some point? Like,
I don't know. I think at that point he might have been.
I mean, it also factors into just how fucking twisted A24 shit really is. I mean,
well, like Hereditary is how. I love Hereditary. Love it. But it's about, the horror within your family dynamics.
Yes.
The horror within the family structure. And not my favorite, but Midsommar is like, the horror of relationships. And when your relationship starts to decay, and the horror of romantic love. And I guess Heretic is supposed to be, belief is what it is to you, when you feel like you have a choice. what you believe in. Everyone's a heretic if you think about it. Everyone's like part of something very strange. Belief is what it is to you. So,
Absolutely.
It's the horror of religion, the horror of belief, your belief systems. And then when you're faced with it, like kind of like a mirror of it. I mean, if you think about it, maybe that guy was trying to, he sought out these Mormon girls to kind of show them a sick illustration, a sick, dysfunctional example of Mormonism in real life. And when you think about that, that's a little fucked up because that took him years to do. Like a lot of forethought. Ew, he's sick. Oh, so,
a lot of forethought. I mean, that house alone, just man.
Oh my. Well, I'm sure he could use the house for other things too, and all those visual aids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're multifaceted. So
therein lies the beauty of the whole franchise. Well, not the whole, but it. Midsummer, Hereditary, Heretic,
The Witch.
Oh,
that's my fave.
The Witch. The list goes on and on. They're just going down the list and trying to put my top 5 list together as to A24 horrors. It's like, okay, there's that one, check, that one, check, that one, check. And it's like, they all kind of sort of have the same simplistic, rooted in reality horror aspect of the genre that I find very fascinating, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and again, when we get to the top 5s, I'm definitely going to speak on that because in the last couple of minutes we have discussed 3 out of my top 5. Well, the names of 3 out of my 5. Oh no, no, you're fine.
I'm almost certain most of those movies are going to be on our list. So
yeah,
and we're gonna have a lot of overlap on our list.
There.
Oh, I did something different, but I didn't do anything.
For your top 5.
Oh no, you're fine.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
fine.
okay that I did something different, but
okay.
No, you're absolutely fine. You can do anything you want. I'm kind of sort of trying to drag my feet because somebody has woken up from a nap and is putting her face on.
Well,
okay.
And
definitely want to hear that.
Well, it's your choice. It's your choice, Casey. It's your choice.
It's all about the choice. So,
So, do you think the butterfly represents Sister Bonds?
Okay, so we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and we'll get to it. And she should be here in a minute anyway. But if you were to rate this movie out of 5, what would you give the movie?
Oh, good question. Ladies first.
Me? I'm a lady again? Thank you.
Again,
8.
Twice in the same episode.
I know. I'm so happy.
Hey.
I can't wait to tell everyone at my job. I was twice today.
And, okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so put a pin in it because... Hi, co-host.
You finally woke up.
Hi.
Decided to join us. Oh.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You know what? Even though we had to wait a whole hour for you, we're glad you showed up because we really want to hear your take on the movie.
That is okay because
that's all right.
We have had a very spirited hour-long discussion on this movie.
I bet. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling good. And I laid down and I woke up and I went out to George and I was like, "Why did you let me sleep so long?" He's like, "What are you talking about? It's only like 4:30." I was like, "No, it's like 6:30."
Yeah, Casey told us what was going on. I was like, she hasn't been on in 3 hours. She's probably asleep.
That is
If
exactly
she sleeps, she probably needed it. Feeling the way you feel it.
Yeah.
But I heard Luana's butterfly question, and yes, that is what I think. I know you weren't asking me, but I answer you anyway.
I am asking you.
So
You look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. So do you with that cute little bun.
So
thank you. I have no makeup on.
I did kind of sort of rip the Band-Aid off and let everybody know that while you were starting to watch the movie going through, you kept messaging me, "Oh my God, he's Satan."
I really thought that's how it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody else think that, or it was just me?
I did.
No, you weren't the only one.
Oh no,
I was thinking that he was going to be
freaking parents had the same thought.
Okay,
Trust me.
Mm-hmm. We all expected more supernatural elements to be revealed at some point.
I mean, I'm not mad about it, man. I'm so mad because I have so many thoughts about this movie. I'm gonna have to.
We got time.
Well, y'all do. I can tell it in my
Tell us the thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I really liked the movie. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna like. It kind of was, but I guess watching it, like you said, I expected that he was gonna be Satan with the whole door thing. That was kind of like, and then you realize both doors go to the exact same place, and he's just a dick. So he's just messing with them. I did not expect a bunch of women to be kept down in the basement. Like, whoa. He did a really good job. Hugh Grant was good at being creepy. Like, I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, "Girl, trust your spidey senses. Get out of there now!" And we never do that.
Right?
There'd never be horror movies.
Luana came. True. So Luana came up with a metaphor that Josh and I actually really liked, and
so
I'd be kind of curious to know what. Go ahead, and would you like to explain your metaphor to the co-host?
Yeah. So my metaphor.
I love a good metaphor.
My metaphor was kind of I watched it a couple of times, once or twice. No, I watched it twice. I didn't get to watch it 3 times. And I like to look at movies kind of like, scene 1, act 1, act 2, act 3, maybe an act 4, and then, finale, denouement, whatever. So act 1 is all in the house pretty much, and that's like his face. That's the face that he shows the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so if you look at the house as a person, I'm saying Mr. Reed is the house.
Gotcha.
That's the face he shows the world. A little old-fashioned, a little clunky, a little charming, kind of awkward, a little bit creepy, right? But then you go into the library, and that's where he has his big monologue. So he's telling you his thoughts, how he thinks, how he sees the world. And then you go a little bit into the basement, and then you get to start seeing, you got to start to see the best parts of him, but he's still in control. The whole house is a method of his control. So, and then you go deeper into the house, into the corridors, and you find all these weird things. This is you're descending into his soul. And
if he has one,
then you find all these women, and he's getting off on controlling all of these women. And Casey brought up, he actually says that it's all about control.
Yeah.
Not about their control, because he keeps saying, "Oh yeah, you had a choice, baby." That's what the devil does.
Yeah.
You had a choice, but in reality, everything's happening the way he wants it to happen. He's in control.
Well, and that was kind of, I don't, there's so many ways you can interpret him saying that. And for me, movies like this are interesting because I grew up being raised Christian. I dated a Mormon for 3 years. So, a funny story. I was at lunch with my in-laws the other day, my sister-in-law, my niece, and my mother-in-law, and I said that to them. I wish I had a video of their collective reaction. What?
Aww.
But I would say like the past.
That's him speeding away. He was outside the. They can start talking about him. He's like, wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be away from that in like 3 or 4 months.
Oh yeah, moving to the dream house.
Yeah.
So, where are you going to keep your men? Your cages of men?
Oh, I have a she shed.
Oh, there you go.
Well.
I will not be visiting the new house. You can sell the lobster suite now.
It would be your choice.
But you were given your perspective based on your religion.
I will gladly take that choice.
So, like the past several years, like for many reasons, I kind of have like had this weird. I think with any kind of religion, you're raised to just believe it. You know, that's faith, believing things that you can't see, you know, whatever. But it's not just about believing in like a higher power, you know, God, whatever. It's not just believing they exist. It's following this set of rules. It belongs to this set of books or one book that is also contradictory, that every religion thinks they're the only one that's going to heaven and then everybody else is going to hell if, you know, you believe those places exist. And so for me, it's been like trying to dismantle what I think is real and what I don't. And, you know, I think it's really arrogant to think that there's only one religion that's going to, you know, save everybody. That just makes, I can't see any kind of God creating that kind of setup unless he just really hates us, which I guess could be true too. You know, you never know.
Well, I just feel like, I don't know.
So the control thing for me, I felt like he was saying religion is all about control.
Absolutely. We actually just had that discussion because I was talking about me having a Christian background, but absolutely hating organized religion.
So see, that's how I feel too.
The way it's, you know, used to control. And you brought up, Luana, how it's been used by the patriarchy as a method of control against women, and how the movie very much acted as a surrogate for that.
Well, and it's the control, and the women that survive, they're playing the game. It's either you know how to play the game to survive, but then like at that point, are you really living at all? Then you're like those women in the cages who wanted to survive, and they're just sitting there wasting away.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying this man is sick.
I guess I didn't expect him to just be some crazy guy who was going to use religion as his own method of torture, depending on who comes up to his door. But I didn't expect all the women either. I guess I kind of expected either him to have somehow. This is really why I thought he was Satan. It's like he has to be some kind of guy who somehow, you know, did everything right and fell from grace and now is like questioning everything and, you know, is so burned by whatever he's been told his whole life, you know. And that's what religion is like. That's why it's hard for me, because I have stepped foot in many different religions and there's so many different beliefs. I mean, there's 200 something different types of just Christianity. Like that's insane, not on top of all the other religions out there. And so like, you know, my mom's family was Catholic. My dad's family was Baptist. So those are really different. I dated a guy that was Church of Christ. That's different. They believe if you're not baptized, you go to hell. And my boyfriend at the time was like 16, and getting baptized is a real personal choice. And he hadn't done it yet. And every day his mom would say, I hope you don't have a car accident. I can't live knowing I won't see my son in heaven, like trying to pressure him all the time. And I'm like, if there is a God that you're telling that we're supposed to believe there is, and we're supposed to believe all these things that he does, it's like, why would he do that? And I know it's not always for us to question, but I don't think, because I think it's stupid to believe if you weren't baptized with some blessed water, but you do everything else right, that you're going to hell. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You know what I mean? So it's just hard to wrap your mind around it when they're all telling you something different and then setting the rules in opposition to what they're telling you to do. It's just crazy. So.
Because it's really a man-made institution. You know what I mean? So like it's the reason why there are so many opposing like they're telling you, everybody's telling you something different, is because they made it for themselves so that they could have control over you. I mean, don't listen to those other guys. They don't know what they're talking about. They go to hell, you know? And don't sure as hell don't listen to those witches over there.
So yeah, I don't know. It's so crazy, and I guess I expected a little more of a religious element, or close to, I mean, supernatural, if you want to call it that. You know, my worry about this, I told Casey, was like, I don't want to offend anybody. Like, I'm not going to come on here and say God isn't real, because how the fuck could I know? But I just, like, my journey has been so different. But then it's like, you see stuff like this, and it's like, did any of that really have anything to do to religion? You could place any set of, like, any belief system set in that, whether it was, you know, the LDS church or any other kind of religious or even other just random belief systems. It's all about choice, and it's all about control.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because originally when the writers set out to write this movie, they were really inspired by movies like Inherit the Wind and Contact, and wanting to do a movie that discussed religion seriously, but also make something that was a popcorn movie that people could watch even if they didn't care about that. Which I think they did a good job, but in making it more of a popcorn movie, they really, like you said, they dialed back a lot of the religious aspects. And so instead of really truly outside some of the monologues, getting this interesting back and forth about religion and the truth of it and the control of it and like all the things you were discussing now, we just get the really surface level, like, how do you know it's real? You know, it's all variations on the same thing, which I would have loved to see it dive deeper into that.
But then it all boils down to your belief.
True.
And your faith. And everybody likes to say their faith is bigger. Yeah. So then again, it's a man-made thing. Like,
well, yeah, and it's like, you know, like I tried to explain to people, kind of having grown up in that culture, that it's not easy to dismantle a belief system that's, you know, thousands of years old and that you've been raised in. You know, people are like, how could all these dumbass white women be voting for Donald Trump? Well, I can tell you exactly why. It's because they have never been raised to think for themselves. They've been raised that the man is in charge. Like, not all of them. Some of these people really love him, but I think people don't understand, that aren't religious or that haven't grown up in some kind of organized setting, you know, like that a lot of times you're brainwashed, like you're not groomed, indoctrinated. You're so indoctrinated in what you've been, that you drink so much of the Kool-Aid that you can't understand that text is being used out of context to control you. And everybody does that. Not just men, not just whatever. I feel like that's what religions and cults and all of those things have in common. It's somebody decided to take this book out of context and control you.
Right. Because when you're indoctrinated to think this is real, then there's a real fear attached to that.
Right.
And when you do start to think for yourselves and want to think for yourselves, you doubt yourself, because your religion has been all this time telling you, when you think like that, you're not even thinking for yourself. It's the devil telling you what to think and all these other things. And so, yeah.
And then you're a heretic, and we're
all heretics.
Yeah, I would say we all are. Mm-hmm. Casey, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Your mic.
He's not Mike, it's Casey.
Oh, shut up. Not you guys.
I mean, it is the Casey thing. It's about once a podcast, right?
Yeah, it is.
His mic just...
It's still not working.
About
there it is.
Control.
All about control. Yeah.
It's all about control.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys do your top fives already?
No, we were getting ready to do rating.
Let's do it.
We waited.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, we were excited that you made it on. I
Juana gave her rating right as we're getting ready to come in. So
first co-host ever. Okay.
She gave it an 8 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay. That's your choice.
It's my choice.
Play against the rules.
No control here.
Pick up arbitrary numbers. It's okay. Okay.
All right. I guess I'll go next. I am going to give it a solid 4.
All right.
You're right there,
Josh.
Casey?
Co-host?
What?
Can you hear us? There seems to be a little bit of delay lag.
Yeah, Casey always had a little bit of a delay too.
Mm-hmm.
Just crappy internet.
Just a tiny bit.
It's not my fault you have crappy internet. No thanks.
So what are
Okay.
you going to say, Casey?
I was offering the co-host to get to give her rating of the movie.
Okay.
I think I would give it a 4 out of 5 too. It was shot really, really well. It gave you the creep factor like all the way through. You know, you kind of thought you knew it was happening and then you didn't. And like Josh said, yeah, they kind of didn't dive that deep into it. But I think that maybe I feel like it's a horror movie, so nobody's ever going to take it seriously. But if you really wanted to, it's a really good way to start a conversation, which I'm not saying people shouldn't believe in whatever they believe, but you know, it's a good conversation starter to maybe make you broaden your horizons about, you know, what's right and what's not, and what's real and what's not, and not to whatever you believe in is for you. It doesn't have to be for everybody. So I thought it could be a good conversation starter.
I agree with that.
Oh my God, it was only supposed to be out of 5?
Yeah, that's why we kind of laughed at you.
Hey,
Not my favorite movie.
Okay, I wonder
It's
if
a
like,
4.
she really loved this movie.
Yeah, 8 out of 5. Shit.
I was like, okay, out of 10. I was like, you know, I was giving it an 8, but now it's a 4.
I think I knew what you were doing, so.
Oh. Well, for all those others out there.
I will agree with everybody else and probably go with a 4 out of 5. And, you know, even like Amanda was saying, and, you know, everybody else was agreeing, this is a good jumping off point to have a discussion about religion and reality and what's real and what you believe and all of that. You know, we've had a good cutting out the introduction of the show, but probably an hour and 15-minute long discussion about religion. And I feel like we were very respectful in doing so. I don't feel like anybody stepped on anybody's toes or offended
I'm a
anybody.
Christian and I wasn't offended, so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Exactly.
I don't want to offend Josh.
You weren't like, no,
I didn't think I would, but because, you know, we know that about you, and I don't have anything but respect for that because you're the problem is that.
But I'm a Christian that's not a fan of religion.
Right. And so many people are walking away from it because they can't know the difference.
Right. And
he has faith, but not an organized religion.
Exactly. And I'm as a Christian, I am a Christian that loves people to ask hard questions and to actually take time to like think about your faith and what you believe in, because I think that's a huge part of your personal growth, because it's personal for everybody. And I also very much respect people that choose to go another way, because until I die, I don't know what's what. And even after I die, I might not know what's what. I might just wake up and be a snail. So, you know?
Yeah. You can't know.
Yeah, and I think that's what movies are for. Movies are not just for entertainment, but they're very much for you to question. It's kind of like The Witch, another great A24 movie, and how they really dig into Christianity and it deconstruct it and interrogate it a little bit and make you question it a little bit, to the point where there are actually theologians out there that have watched and dissected the movie and used it in classes. And I love that kind of thing. You know, I wish there was more things out there to make people stop and question religion. There were films that did in a way that's a conversation starter like this movie is.
Yeah, I mean, this movie did a really good job of that, I thought. I mean, the thing is, you don't even have to know anything about LDS to go into this movie and know, because it's a universal scenario. It's two girls at a guy's house who end up in trouble and have to figure out what to do. faith
Right.
and religion is woven into the story, but you could have thrown anything, any set of religious rules in there. It's still the same message about, what's important to you. What do you believe, and making them question it. But if you know about LDS, if you know about, Mormons and all that, it adds a little bit of depth to the story, but honestly, not that much. So I liked that too. It could have been any faith.
You hit the nail on the head too, because you could take this movie, and it didn't even have to be a movie about faith. Maybe they came to interview with him to be interns, and it's a movie about sociology. Very much the framework of this movie were bones that they could have built this with just about any background for those characters.
Yeah.
So before we end the show, we have our brand new segment of the show that we'd like to give everybody a chance to chime in on, and that's where we incorporate the awesome podcast, The Sip List, into our workings for our discussion. Every week, we like to give everybody a chance to bring a related top 5 list to the table and let us know what their top 5 list is and give us what their ranking for said top 5 list is. Third time's a charm. Luana, ladies first.
Okay. I'm a lady thrice.
She's a lady.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm a lady. So I was watching. When I was watching the movie, I was trying to make it. I was trying to make it relate, and I love werewolves, so to me everything's werewolf.
Nice.
But I was thinking of him as the big bad wolf, and they were like the little Red Riding Hoods. So I wanted to come up with my
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like, okay. Well, and then I started thinking about like duality and like, the beast within and stuff like that. So of course I came up with top 5 werewolf movies.
Very nice.
Okay.
It's an interesting one. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So
just tell me you didn't choose the wolf or wolf. Never mind. I just don't choose that Jack Nicholson one. It was awful.
I loved that one.
Okay, that's my bad.
It's not my top 5, maybe top 10.
Zip it.
But not top 5. Well, I kind of my top 5 werewolf movies are probably more out of they're probably more out of nostalgia more than anything, because they kind of like they've been so ingrained in my like who I am. So the first I guess my 5th favorite werewolf movie, don't kill me, it's gotten panned by a lot of people, but I love the new Wolfman movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, me neither. I have to check that out.
Guys, it's so good. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's not the werewolf isn't pretty, I guess.
Honestly, the trailers threw me off because I wanted to see it, and then the trailer made it seem like a really just typical horror movie, and I was like, I don't know if I want to see it.
And in some ways it is. In some ways I feel like if you're a horror fan the way that we are, you kind of know the beats of a horror film. But I also, at the same time, I think that the new Wolfman movie at my number 5 spot, it brings something fresh, something new to the genre. And it's also a genre that nobody really ever speaks about. There aren't really very good werewolf movies out there. So it just brings something new to the table for that monster. So
absolutely.
Wolfman's good.
Makes sense.
And it's based off the Universal Wolfman, or it's just like a new wolf movie?
No, it's kind of, no, it's not even, it's nothing like the Universal Wolfman.
Okay.
Although I do love the Benicio del Toro one, and of course the original, but this new guy, I wanted to give him a shout out because it was really well done.
Okay. I'll add it to my list.
Yeah, it adds something new, but at the same time, it's
originally it was supposed to be part of that whole dark universe and was supposed to be more in line with the original Wolfman.
Right.
And then that Dark Universe sucks, so they did their own thing, which I'm glad they did.
Well, I'm glad that they did because it ended up, they got a little more creative with it. So I really did like that. I really did like that. And I don't want to tell you what I thought because that would be like forever. What I thought was the great additions and made it fresh, but it was good. Also, my number 4 is Company of Wolves. That is a Neil Jordan film. It's an anthology movie. It's about like a bunch of there's a wraparound story. It's a little girl. She's not really a little girl. She's a young woman blossoming into womanhood, and she falls asleep, and then she starts having these werewolf-centric Little Red Riding Hood dreams, and they're each different stories.
Interesting.
There's a book by Angela Carter, and of course the name but it's based off of a book by Angela Carter. There are a bunch of different stories about wolves. Like
That's
the most dangerous men are the men who are hairy inside.
Oh,
yeah.
Good call.
So Hugh Grant was definitely hairy inside in that movie.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
But also Teen Wolf. I don't know.
Oh, I love Teen Wolf.
Yeah, I'm all about Teen Wolf.
Yeah. So, right there, that's like my 80s, Silver Bullet or Teen Wolf. I couldn't choose, so I'm just going to throw them both out there. Silver Bullet, of course. Oh, religion and werewolves. And Teen Wolf is just another werewolf story about, growing hair in places that you didn't expect when you hit adolescence and getting horny for no reason. So that's the beast. And somebody disappeared.
It's Casey. That's what he does. He'll be back.
Number 2 werewolf movie is The Howling.
Good one.
Very good.
I'm loving the 80s representation we got going on.
Oh, I'm all about it, baby. All about the 80s. So yeah, I love The Howling. That was great.
That was a good one.
And also talking about like indoctrination. I mean, everybody thinks that a bunch of werewolves living in the woods, in a little colony. What's wrong with that? They're not hurting anybody, but whatever. And then, of course, my number 1, everybody's probably number 1 is An American Werewolf in London.
I loved that movie.
I loved it too. My whole life. It was like maybe a second werewolf movie I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, it was really something.
Any honorable mentions that maybe didn't make your list?
Oh, honorable mentions. Well, I love Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
It's okay. I love Twilight with Jacob Black.
And I like most of the Ginger Snap movies.
Oh, I love Ginger Snaps.
They're not great movies though. So they wouldn't make my top list.
To me, well, they're indie.
They're great bad movies. They're great B movies in my opinion.
Take him in the arts.
The makeup is just wonderful
Casey.
for the budget that they had. Oh, it was
True.
Yeah, I love.
Do you guys count Silver Bullet as a? I mean, it's not really or not Silver. God, sorry.
Yeah. Wolf Cop.
The Thing.
Oh, The Thing. Well,
I don't. It's not
Metamorphosis.
really a werewolf movie, but for some reason, I always feel like it is.
Well, because of the metamorphosis, and you don't know who the werewolf is.
Exactly.
Or, well, you don't know who the alien is, who's been infected.
I feel like it's a type of creature feature genre film that most werewolf films fall into that same area genre. But hey, we're all trapped. We don't know who the monster is among us.
True.
There's a werewolf movie like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a whole game that werewolf.
No, it's not the most dangerous game. But the rich guy invites everybody to the house, and one of them is a werewolf, and you don't know who it is.
I have never even heard of that.
I'll try. I have it in my DVD collection. I'm gonna have to go look and figure out which one. But
American Werewolf in London started my love affair with Griffin Dunne, and it has lasted a lifetime.
Oh my God, he's so cute. He's so cute.
I was so hung up on him.
Really?
I don't know why. I was so attracted to him.
because he's like funny and witty.
Yeah, and he's not like overly hot. He's just a normal looking dude, you know.
Unconventional handsomeness.
Yes.
Like a Adrian Brody kind of thing, but less creepy.
Less nose.
Less. He's so cute.
He is cute.
So,
Josh, you want to go next?
Yeah,
On that note, Josh. Yeah.
All right, so my list, and I did the A24 thing. However, I do have to admit something to you guys. So I wrote my list about like 2 or 3 days ago when Casey gave me the assignment. And then about 2 days ago, I was going back over my list, and I realized I had 2 movies that weren't actually A24 movies on my list.
oh,
It felt like they were A24 movies, and then I was like, wait, let me look these up to make sure these are all. And one of those happened to be my number 1 pick, and I was like,
What was it?
So It Follows.
oh,
I thought
I
It Follows
really
was
love-
A24.
I looked into it,
A24?
and it wasn't A24.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I spent like a good hour like trying to find it and digging through it, and I was like, oh, I guess it wasn't even distributed by A24. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I had that, and then I also had Midnight. Was it Midnight with the Devil? Late Night with the Devil.
Oh. Wait,
Yeah,
what is your top 5 supposed to be? Like
so my top 5 is top 5 A24 horror movies.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to tell you that anecdote before I got into my actual top 5 A24 movies. So number
Late
1
Night with the Devil. Oh my God, we have to. I think maybe we have talked about this.
Have you guys done an episode? Because I'd love to come on for that.
yeah, me too. I love Late Night
me.
with the Devil.
My favorite
Maybe-
genre is found footage. And
Maybe
so-
I shouldn't. Y'all don't want to hear me shit all over this movie.
No,
Yes,
that's
I
the best
do.
part. That's the best part. Let me tell
Chancey
you,
and I had the
it's fun.
exact same opinion about this movie when we were both so upset. Yeah, maybe we should do an episode about
We
it.
should, because I want to hear your opinion on it.
It,
So number
it's
5,
been discussed. We just haven't put it on the schedule yet.
Gotcha.
But that's a Shudder movie, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it was
Shudder.
just Shudder. Yeah.
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah.
So number 5 on my list is Heretic.
Mm.
Because I liked it a lot. And I while I gave it a 4, it's definitely not my favorite A24, but it's up there. I liked it better than like the Neon Glow and Men and a couple other movies. So, it's up on my list. Mhm.
I saw The TV Glow was one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my life.
It was
Really? I
horrible.
didn't
And
see it.
I had such good hype around it, and then I watched it, and
Me too.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't finish it. I only made it about 20 minutes in. I was just like,
I
so
made myself finish it. You didn't miss anything. It was
Good.
awful.
good. No,
Was
and
boring.
then that's why I didn't make it far.
Oh man, I'm
So-
so disappointed.
I
Me
know.
too, because it sounded amazing. So my number 4 movie is Midsummer.
Oh
I
God.
really enjoy that
Sorry.
one.
Period.
Um,
Period. Lemonade.
Ugh.
Oh,
This
Burning
is why I thought
Days.
Saltburn was an A24 movie.
Right?
Too long.
I didn't see Saltburn, but I heard something about it, and I'm like,
You didn't miss anything.
I watched it the one time, and that's all it needed.
Oh, see, I've seen it like 3 times now. I think it's really, really good. It's fucked up.
Oh, it's
Bathwater, vampires, and
Cemetery.
mhm,
Oh,
cemetery.
yeah. Oh, ouch.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
said-
I'm gonna have to watch it just to be disgusted, but
I think you
should
should.
watch it. You should
I
watch
know
it.
Salo.
It's worth watching at least
Follow.
once. Yeah. Number 3 on my list was The Witch. Really solid movie. It would be higher on my list, but honestly, I only watched it one time, and I had a really hard time watching it, mostly because it was very disturbing, and it takes a lot to have me disturbed. But it was so mind fuckery and all this stuff that I just was disturbed watching it, and I watched cartoons and turned my lights on afterwards.
Nice.
And then number 2 on my list is Talk to Me. I really, really enjoyed Talk to Me. I'm excited because they're talking about making a sequel, but I enjoyed that. It had that great supernatural aspect to it, and man, there were some scenes that had me jump, and so that was great. And then number 1 on my list is Hereditary, because Hereditary that twist midway through the movie blew me away. Like I sat there with my mouth just agape. I'm like, there's no way that actually happened. He's dreaming, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And then the next day she goes to the car and I'm just like, that really happened? What the it's happened? What the, like I can't get into the spoilers of it, but yeah, like I paused the movie and had to sit there for like 5 minutes to compose myself.
So did he.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Like what?
I'm
geez.
officially going on record. Hereditary will get a whole episode worth of discussion on the show.
Fantastic. It should.
Nice.
Again, it's one of those that it was directed by the same person that directed Midsummer.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into it when it comes up for the damn show, but it may or may not be popping up again on somebody else's top 5 list. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So,
well, for mine, I did top 5 religious horror movies.
Oh, okay.
So my honorable mentions are Carrie, which I didn't put on my top 5 because I feel like that's not the entire point of the story, but
right,
it's in there. The Witch, and I've only seen it once as well, and The Nun.
Ooh, good pick.
So, The Nun was really good.
Oh, they're great.
I put sorry guys. The Exorcism of Emily Rose, number 5.
Nice.
Oldie but a goodie. I put Heretic at number 4. I think I need to give it another watch, but for all the reasons we talked about, I thought it was really good. Number 3, I have The Omen. That movie made me want to sleep with the lights on. And as now I can watch these movies and they don't scare me as much. Like some people are really scared by demonic possession and all that stuff because you believe in it. And now I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I do. But when I did, it scared the fuck out of me. Number 2, Rosemary's Baby. Another one
so good.
Oh,
so good.
Scary. And the number 1 is The Conjuring. I love The Conjuring.
Oh yeah, great movie. I want to throw another honorable mention out there that's in that genre, but The Last Exorcism.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
It's surprisingly good. I enjoy the premise too. Like the preacher that doesn't believe anymore goes to do this to like expose it. you know,
and then he's like, "Whoops." My favorite religious movie of all time is Dogma, hands down.
Dogma's a good movie. I'm so excited that he got the rights back.
Have you guys watched The Cleansing Hour?
No.
Oh, it's on Shudder.
Never even heard about it.
Okay.
The Cleansing Hour. It's about these guys that have like an internet show where they perform exorcisms live. And people tune up to watch it. But people don't know is that they're all staged. Until one day, it's not.
Until one day.
Is it found footage?
Huh? No, not really. Okay. Because it is found footage because they're taping their exorcisms, quote unquote, but it's not found footage.
I might watch this later tonight.
The Cleansing Hour. Oh yes,
it's on Shudder. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
Yeah, I'll be checking that out. Good list, Amanda.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Come on, Casey.
So I'm going with again my top 5 favorite A24s. My number 5 is probably the closest thing that A24 has to a slasher per se, but I went with X.
Yes, sir. I thought about putting that on mine.
Which one?
X.
Oh yeah,
for the whole Maxine Pro trilogy.
Yeah.
For number 4, I went with Heretic.
Guma.
For me, 1 through 4 are probably so close that depending upon my mood, I could flip flop the order of any one of the 4 of them and be okay with it. So I have Heretic. I have Heretic at 4. The only once watchable Witch at number 3. Swedish Sex Cults at number 2.
Whatever twists your knickers.
Did something. Again, thank you, Harvey, for requesting that movie, because if you hadn't, I probably never would have watched it. And oh dear Lord.
And you wouldn't be
And
addicted
then
to A24.
number 1. No, it probably is the truth. Midsummer is probably the reason why I'm addicted to A24.
Yeah.
Because even the stuff that's not horror is still weird and twisted in some. Yeah.
Yeah, DeAndre,
number 1 is
Stinky Bear Suit.
Oh, sorry.
I can't.
Oh my god! But number 1 is Hereditary.
Yeah,
I love Hereditary and The Witch so much.
Well, that's
They're very intense.
Is they have so many good movies that aren't even horror movies,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of their movies that aren't horror are still very disturbing. But yeah, A24, they've just come out and become a juggernaut. So I remember before A24 really started sinking their teeth into horror, I was all about Blumhouse, and I still like most Blumhouse stuff, but I feel like Blumhouse has been eclipsed by A24.
Well, I heard Woman in the Yard was terrible.
Really?
I know, and I'm bummed, but I'll probably still watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out.
Well, now Neon's up and coming.
That's true. And Neon's one of those ones where a lot of people mistake their movies for A24 movies.
The Substance, is that Neon? I didn't get to watch it yet. Have you guys?
I have not either, but it's on my list. Was it? Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, I cannot wait. Oh, I'm so jealous. Watch party.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
It's not even
so fucked up.
It's not even open yet.
Good.
How dare you? How dare you?
You guys, I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm going downhill very fast. The nap helped me for like 20 minutes, and now I'm gonna die. So
I think we're at the end anyway.
Yeah, we're at the end.
Thank you for coming on and
give us 2 seconds to wrap.
Okay.
You can do your job. But thank you guys for being here each and every week. You guys are amazing. You guys are the reason why we're doing awesome numbers each and every week. Thank you to Luana for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Josh, do you have anything coming up on Toontastic Journeys?
We've been putting out lots of content. Check us out because we just released an episode talking about Big Hero 6. Really enjoyed it. And we have an episode that's long overdue because I lost the episode, but I found it. So we will be putting out next Saturday, The Lion King. And then we will follow it up with the movie that we all hated. So much so that we only made it halfway through the recording. The other half is us just talking about other random shit. That is Meet the Robinsons. So you got some fun stuff to look forward to coming up soon.
All right.
Every other Saturday. Toontastic Journeys. Find us on Spotify.
All right. So thank you for waking up, co-host, and joining us.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. Oh, no, because I already had it planned. If you didn't show up, you were going to give your review for this movie next week on Empire Records. So
I'm excited for
That's going to have enough of it. That's going to have enough of a discussion. I don't feel like we need to give any time away for Heretic, so I'm glad you made it for this week. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Empire Records next week. Brandy has requested Wicked. Kendra has requested Bridesmaids. And our April audio-only redo is The Princess Bride. So that's what you got coming up in April. Amanda's going downhill fast, so I will turn the microphone over to her and let her send us out of here like only she can.
Oh, I think we decided in July we're doing high school reunion movies, so stay tuned for that.
Ooh, Romeo and Michelle.
We already did Romeo and Michelle, but we've got another list.
And by the end of the school year, I do want to do the Breakfast Club because it turns 40 years old this year as well.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we had discussed that last night as well. So
All right.
stay
Well,
tuned
thanks,
for all of that.
everybody.
Lots of fun.
Sorry. Thanks for watching and listening. So sorry I was late. I am never a no-show or super late like that, so I feel terrible. But yeah, thanks for watching and listening. Thank you guys for being here, and we hope you all come back for an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
Woohoo!
Something is free.